Hello everybody, welcome back to the Young Fan Podcast. The time has now come for me to do the dreaded thing that we all hate doing, but we've got to do it because it's tradition. It's the League One Predictions for, of course, this year, the 2021-2022 campaign. We all have to do it. If you've got a channel surrounding football, specifically around League One, for me, I probably will do a Premier League one as well. It's just tradition, isn't it? You just have to do a prediction. You hate doing it because you upset all the fans. You make yourself like a right idiot come the end of the season. There's no possible good scenario out of this because you're never going to get them all right, and it just is a recipe for disaster from minute one to the end of the episode. So, strap yourselves in. I'm sure I'm going to upset a lot of people, but please don't dislike the video if I predict your team to finish maybe where you don't want them to, because ultimately I can't read the future. So it is completely a prediction. I'm taking into consideration the signings, the transfers of your clubs, and sort of where your squad is at as of now. Now, I must say as well, when we talk about this, is the time of recording is Thursday the 29th of July. So the business still can be done, and business can be done as the season begins as well. So the season and the squads will not be finalised completely, and it'll be impossible for me to have the full squad list and look at it from the end of the transfer window onwards without the season already starting. And then of course the predictions comes absolutely useless and not real. So I have to do this now. So obviously your team may add some amazing players, and in which case then my prediction will look much different. But I've got to do it now. I feel like if I release this about a week before the start of the season, it gives it enough time to sort of settle. You guys get to watch it, and then we can have a bit of a laugh from there as well. But as of now, as of the 29th of July, these are my predictions, and this is looking at the transfers up to this point. I must also say as well, please do leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy this sort of content. I'm going to be doing lots of content. I'm going to be going up and down the country with my team, Oxford United, creating some exciting new not vlog content, but certainly some exciting content up and down the country, going to your ground most likely. I can't wait to do it, as well as sit down ones like this where we look at stats and sit down in the studio and talk about lots of things and everything around League One and football across the country. Not just League One, it can be other leagues as well. And if you join and you're looking forward to this season of the podcast and you don't want to miss it, please make sure you leave a like and subscribe, both of which are free and easy. Helps me out more than you can imagine. Let's crack on with it. Let's not drag it out any longer. Let's start off with 24th position. And I'm going to go with Morecambe. I think Morecambe are going to finish bottom. I'm sorry, Morecambe fans, but again, you're promoted last season from League Two, and the bookies' favourite do see you get relegated, which is not always a good way of looking at it. The bookies don't get it always right. They do say the bookies always win, but in predictions, they don't always get it right, okay? They have made a lot of transfers but they have had a fair few departures as well. Sometimes that can backfire when you bring a lot of players in. Sometimes can they settle? Can they get into the squad? Can they get into the groove quick enough? Can they sort of gel with each other and get themselves, a bit of a winning mentality and a bit of a winning a winning squad there? Can they do that? Can pre-season be enough time for those players to come in and do that? That's a question. That's something that certainly can interest me. They have made a lot of transfers as well. For me, watch out for a few signings. They've made one. I think it's Josh McPake. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's on loan from Rangers. He's a really, really exciting player. And watch out with Josh McPake. I think he's a really, really good player on loan from Rangers. He could be a game changer. And one for Oxford United fans as well. They signed Obika, who joins. He's a striker who joins on a free for Morecambe as well. So they made a few signings. Watch out for Josh McPake. He looks to be a really, really exciting player. Really highly rated from Reading fans. And also Obika, Oxford United fans will know him. He was a striker who didn't really hit the ground running. Let's put it that way. He wasn't really a goal scorer for Oxford United, but hopefully he does better for Morecambe, and hopefully for them he can be a bit of a goal scorer. But interestingly enough, I think they will finish bottom. I apologise for Morecambe fans, but that's at the moment, looking at the business they've done, that's where I stand. In 23rd then, I'm going with Cheltenham. Again, another team that were promoted last season. You've probably seen a bit of a trend here. And again, they are another bookie favourites to get relegated. Made only 2 summer signings as well. No departures, but a team getting promoted into League One. A big step up League Two to League One. Not making any signings really. I mean, making 2. I mean, they do look decent signings, but is 2 enough? I mean, they haven't let anyone go, which suggests that the squad still is very, very similar. But can what is pretty much the same League Two, so they got promoted, be enough to compete competitively and be enough to stay up in League One this year? That interests me. That worries me. And I do have my doubts there. So for that reason, I'm going 23rd for Cheltenham. For Cambridge, I'm going 22nd. Again, you're seeing another trend here. The third team being promoted. I've got my bottom 3. Once again, some decent signs. A striker Oxford fans may remember, that Sam Smith. No, not the singer. The striker. He joins on a free after being released by Reading. We had him as well. Once again, he didn't score any goals. So good luck any Cambridge fans there. Again, he didn't score any goals for Oxford United. But again, hopefully for him, he can find a bit of a groove, find a bit of momentum. He can start scoring goals. So Cambridge Cambridge. But generally, though, they have had a few departures to note. One in particular here, Kyle Knoll, who made 46 appearances last season. He got 2 goals and 2 assists, and that could be a big miss when you lose a player of that quality to another team and go to other teams in the league and teams really anywhere. Really, when you lose a player of that magnitude, of that importance, that can cause problems. So for me, that departure, along with some signings that they've made a few, but they don't sound impeccable, along with a League Two side generally as well. Of course, now making a big step up into League One, I think they're going to get relegated. I've got them as 22nd. For 21st, I've gone with AFC Wimbledon. They're a team that finished 19th last season. They have lost their striker, though, and that is Joe Pigott. And for me, that's a big reason why I've got them in the relegation zone and got them going down this year. For me, losing a player like Joe Pigott, a bagsman, a talisman for them for quite a few years, and losing divisional rivals as well, being Ipswich Town, that's going to be quite difficult. And to try and replace him, that's going to be quite a tough challenge for the recruitment team and for AFC Wimbledon. For that reason, and along with the fact that I don't think 19th last season, do I think they've got a capable squad to stay up? In my opinion, if I'm predicting it, I don't think they have. I'm sorry. I'm generally sorry, AFC Wimbledon fans. And then 20th then, we've got Plymouth. They finished 18th last season. Quite a few good additions for Plymouth after staying up last year. After, of course, getting promoted the following year. The season before that. They will be safe, though, in my opinion. They made a few... I can just see worse teams in the league, really. They've had a few good transfers. They've made a few additions. But, for me, I can see teams worse than Plymouth. And sometimes that's how you've got to do your predictions. When I go through it, I'm like... They might get relegated, but at the same time, I can see teams blatantly not with a good enough squad compared to Plymouth. And for that reason, I think they're going to stay up but 20th, I think it will be for them. In 19th then, I'm going with Shrewsbury. 17th last season, 6 players in the door so far, and look to be adding to their squad well. 1 divisional rival departure to note, but other than that, a very quiet list of departures as well, which is quality and good for them. I think their business they've done enough, I think the business they've done is enough to keep them up this year, and that excites me if you're a Shrewsbury fan. 17th last season, 19th last season, I think they're staying up. I think they'll be safe. That's why I'm going to predict Shrewsbury Town. For Gillingham then, 10th last season, I think they're going to finish 18th this year. Some big departures after they lose their main man last year, being Jordan Graham, to Birmingham for a free. I mean, how he's gone for a free, I think that's going to be quite disappointing. Not getting any money for him, really from a financial perspective, for Gillingham will be really, really annoying. And for Birmingham, I think that's an absolute steal. I think that's a fantastic signing. Not even sort of fee, which makes it harder for them to take. Also, they've lost their number 1 goalkeeper to Stoke on a free, having made some good signings. We'll always get some good results with the manager. Of course, we know Steve Evans. He's the sort of manager that will get you results. He can sort of tactically get you a way around things. And sort of sometimes you could arguably... the dirty side of the game can get you a few results. I think Steve Evans will do that. I think he'll keep Gillingham up. They finished 10th last season. A good year last year. I don't think it'll be as good a year, but they certainly, in my opinion, will stay up. 18th in the league for me. Next up then, 17th, Accrington Stanley I've gone with. They finished 11th last season. Another team that did very, very well. And another side that's been busy in the market this summer. After what was a surprisingly good season last year. 2 good signings from Liverpool and a loanee from Manchester City. So some really, really interesting signings from some massive clubs in England as well. No real significant departures as well, which is always positive. They'll be hoping for another safe season in League One. I think they will. I think they're going to be safe. 17th it is for Accrington Stanley. However, with what has been a good squad for them and adding to that squad, we could see a better year for them. I don't know though. I think 17th is a safe bet for me. Next up then, Doncaster. I think they're going to have a 2-place drop-off. They finished 14th last season. I think they're going to finish 16th this year. They fell off after more left for go to Sheffield Wednesday last year. About January time, they saw a massive drop-off in performances and results. They looked good for playoffs. He left. They absolutely crumbled to pieces. Ben Close is a good signing for Portsmouth on a free, though. They have lost Ryan Edmondson on loan to Leeds, which is a bit of a strange one. And Reece James to Blackpool as well. I believe he was a fullback for Doncaster. He's gone to Blackpool in the Championship. Some significant departures there, which is really, really interesting. They've made a few additions. Like I said, Ben Close from Portsmouth looks to be a good addition to the Doncaster squad. Other than that, though, that's where I look at Doncaster. I don't think it's going to be as good a year, but still, 16th in the league, they'll be safe. I don't think they've got anything to worry about there. Next up then, we've got Crewe. I think they're going to finish 15th. They finished 12th last season, and compared to other League One clubs, it has been quite a quiet window. Only 4 revivals, but the players they brought in look decent. 2 players from Scotland and a Southampton loanee as well. McDonald also joins Rotherham, joins from Rotherham on a free, but some big departures, including Ryan Wintle, the midfielder, the orchestra, you could say, to that Crewe midfield. I liked Ryan Wintle. I thought he was a really, really good player, and you can see where he's gone, in this case being Cardiff. Cardiff making that big step up to the Championship. You can see there's a player there, and losing him on a free, it's going to be quite disappointing. And you see in there another team, another player letting a big player go on a free. You see Jordan Graham go to Birmingham on a free. You now see Ryan Wintle go to Cardiff on a free. Some big departures there with no money coming in. That interests me and surprises me. Next up then, 14th, I'm going with Fleetwood. They finished 15th last year. This, of course, is Simon Grayson's first full year in charge, his first summer transfer window as well. And some decent transfers, some decent free transfers joining the club. A lot of players joining, been released by League One clubs, which is a positive for me. I think if you've got players coming in that have had experience at other League One clubs, maybe been playing some football at those League One clubs, that's a good start. That's a good place to be, because then you know they've experienced the league, they've experienced what's going on, and when you bring players in at that sort of recruitment level, that can be really, really positive. And I'm happy with them. I think 14th for them. They finished 15th last season, a slight increase, a one-place increase in position. I think Fleetwood fans will probably take that. Next up then, I'm going with MK Dons, who finished 13th last season. I think they're going to finish 13th again. A busy in the market this summer though, mixed between loan and permanent signings. Off the bat of a decent year last year, they want to push on and start seriously competing in League One. I think they will. Maybe not to the ultimate level, I'm talking playoffs, but this league is so hard, it's so difficult, it's such a competitive league. Do I think MK Dons have that ability right now? I don't think they do. They've made some good signings, but as of right now, taking that next level up, I'm not entirely sure. Certainly, though, they can prove me wrong, and I hope with all these teams they probably will prove me wrong, because, like I said, predictions for people like me and for a lot of people on with this sort of platform to talk about football, it's never great, is it? It never gets the best. You can't win. It's a lose-lose, whatever you do. So next up, then we're going with 12th, and we're going with Bolton Albion. 16th last season. They're going to finish 12th this year, in my opinion. That's what I'm predicting. And quite a busy summer for them. The busiest team in the market so far. They look like a real force going into the new season. A fantastic revival, you could say, when the new manager came in, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. He came in midway through last season and looked fantastic. He looked like a fantastic manager who came in and saved Bolton. They've been very, very busy in the market. Some quality free signings. Southampton signing looks to be very, very good. Some good loan signings as well to add to their squad. No significant departures either. So Burton is certainly like a team to watch out for. I said last season our prediction that Lincoln were a team to watch out for. I think I predicted them around 12th. They went on to have a very, very good year. Watch out for Burton. They made some good signings, some big signings. I look forward to seeing them because they've got some really good additions to their squad. Moving on to 11th, and I'm going with the 4th promoted team. It could surprise you a little bit, but I've gone with Bolton. They were promoted last season, but they've had some very, very impressive signings. Some impressive loan and permanent signings joining the club. No significant departures and some good additions to the squad. Also, a good window, and a good window can set up for a successful season. I can see that as well. Now the financial issues are starting to sort of clear up off the pitch. You can start seeing some real business being done on it, and that's where it excites me to an extent. I look forward to seeing Bolton now. I think that now you've sort of seen them, they've made some nice additions to the squad. I can sort of see them now progress and definitely show they're a real team to watch out for. I look forward to that, and I think we will see that. So that's why I've got them 11th. That could surprise a few people. Team promoted in the league finishing 11th. I think they will though. That's where I've predicted Bolton 11th. Next up then, 10th, and I'm going with Lincoln City. They finished 5th last year. Difficult pre-season after Appleton missed most of their preparations, I would say there as well. I wish him all the best, a speedy recovery. I love Michael Appleton, what he's having to go through at the moment, what his friends, family having to go through, what Lincoln fans and the football club of Lincoln having to go through right now is, of course, a very, very worrying time for him as well, for Michael. I loved him. I thought he was an incredible manager at Oxford United. I thought he was genuinely one of the most down-to-earth, honest managers, a fantastic manager. Just through and through. And to hear someone like that, who as fans we definitely grew very close to, he got us promoted out of League 2 into League 1. He's a manager that we all feel very, very close and connected to. We all generally wish him the best, and personally for me as well, I wish him the best recovery, the speediest recovery, and a successful one as well. So hopefully he can do that. That probably would have affected Lincoln's preparations, but I'm sure that is not on the forefront of their minds at the moment. It's just making sure their gaffer is okay and is progressing the way they would have wanted. Most importantly, like I said before, health becomes before football, and definitely the health of Michael Appleton, of course, is everybody's priority. However, it probably wouldn't have affected. It probably would have affected Lincoln's preparations going into this season. Ultimately, though, I think they have made some really good signings. Michael Appleton and Chris Maguire coming back together, being reunited. He joins after being released by Sunderland. He joins Lincoln City as well. A very good, experienced winger. I love him at Oxford United. I loved him at Oxford United. He's been to Sunderland. He's been to Bury, then Sunderland, then, of course, now Lincoln. Another signing as well to watch out for. Is it Dan? Is it in London? It's Dan Unlundia. It's Dan from Southampton, really. It's Dan from Southampton. He joins on a loan. He's a good loan signing, I think. Exciting young player. Certainly got a really, really exciting future ahead of him. Had a good season last year as well, I believe, in the youth. And also he made his debut as well, I'm pretty sure, in the FA Cup as well. So he would have had his breakthrough year at Southampton. A good loan signing for him. They had a very good year generally last year. Lincoln, hopefully for them, they can recreate that. I think 10th, though, for them personally. Next up then, we've got, of course, 9th. And I think that's going to be Wycombe. There's no grudge there, Wycombe fans. There's not. I know I'm an Oxford United fan. There's no grudge there. They got relegated last season, and you probably would see very quickly that I'm not named any other relegated teams. They are a team that I think will not go straight back up. I know there's Akinfenwa, another 1-year contract. That isn't going to get you too far, I don't think. I believe Akinfenwa, I love him. He's a favourite of mine. I think he's a great guy. But again, you can't just sign Akinfenwa on a 1-year deal and expect to start getting promoted back into the Championship like that. They have had some decent signings, though. I'm not going to lie. Joking aside, they have made some good additions. Sully Kaikai joins from Blackpool after being released there. I know Carl Robinson and him got along very, very well. Of course, Oxford's gaffer got along with Sully Kaikai very, very well. He joins Wycombe on a free. 2 departures to Championship clubs as well, which could cost them points this season, could cost them this year, really. You lose players to Championship clubs, it clearly means they're looking at it, clearly means they impressed last year. That's where I've gone with Wycombe. 8th then is next, and that's where I've gone, and with regret, I've gone with Oxford United finishing 8th. I know we've just signed Nathan Holland today, but on top of that, I just think because this league's so competitive and because we're really having to compete with some of the biggest teams, not just we're having to compete with some of the biggest teams in England, really. You talk about the Bolton, you talk about the Sheffield Wednesdays, or the Sunderlands, some huge clubs here. And I think this might be the year where we might see that minor drop off. This might be the year we see that sort of take a step back. Let's just watch something amazing unfold at the top. Hopefully, we can be part of that unfolding at the top, but it's looking unlikely. When you look at the quality in this league, we have quality for sure, but there's some huge teams, Charlton as well, some massive football clubs, Rotherham, huge teams. I don't know if we have the ability to have another 3rd consecutive push in the playoffs. I hope we can. Obviously, I really hope we have the ability to do that, but I don't think we do as of yet. For me, that's where I sit with them. Last season, we finished 6th. I think this year we're going to finish 8th, but of course, we would love to finish in the playoffs, and I'll be hoping that we can, but I'm just giving my honest thoughts. If I'm doing the predictions, I've got to be honest, I've got to put my club somewhere, haven't I? 7th then, and this is going to upset quite a lot of fans, another massive team. I've gone with Pompey. I've gone with Portsmouth finishing 7th. They finished 8th last year. Final day disaster for them, losing to Accrington to actually secure Oxford United a place in the playoffs. However, we can see a big rebuild at Portsmouth. We really, really can. Some big influential players, you could say, have left the club. Just name a few here. Captain Tom Naylor joins Wigan. Ryan Williams joins Oxford United. Close and Watmore also leave the club. Some big changes to the football club, and you can see there's a bit of a change in structure. Definitely going to be some interesting new additions. You can see they have brought in some players and hope they can replace some of the big names. But ultimately, the manager, Cowley, says has recently come out and stated that some of the teams are splashing the cash, and it's getting a little bit crazy, getting a bit out of hand. Portsmouth are a very, very good club. They have money, they have the finances, but some of the things that are going on with some of these clubs spending the sort of money they are, this could be a separate podcast episode on its own. It is incredible the sort of money they're spending on these players, and teams like Portsmouth, even if they can't compete, what are teams like Oxford going to do? That's the position I find myself in right now. I think Portsmouth, though, they will finish 7th, and they've lost some key players there. Probably that's stopping me. But if they want to rebuild, you can always rebuild and bring new players in, better players in. They could end up having a fantastic year, of course. And then finally, the first team in the playoffs, 6th, and that, of course, this year I've gone with Wigan. They were 20th last season, and this is a massive surprise. You've probably fallen off your chair. I certainly haven't, but that's because I've got a bit of explaining to do. I can see you're probably thinking, what on earth is this lad doing? They got relegated 2 seasons ago, and they had an awful year, you could say, last year, but a lot of things affected them off the pitch. What happened? They had a really quite disappointing year, really, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was sort of expected with the financial difficulties off the pitch. But this is probably the most risky prediction I've ever done. It's probably the biggest prediction I'll do. But hear me out here. I've got a bit of experience to do. Now, the issues off the pitch look much more healthier. Some of the signings they brought in this summer look very, very impressive. I'll name a few here. Exhibit A, ex-Sunderland bagsman Charlie, and I'm going to get it right, Wick, not Wyke, Wick. I've been saying Wyke, and I've been getting an absolute bunch of stick for it. It's Wick. It's Wick. But it's strange because his name is Wick, but it's got a Y in it. So why is it not Wyke? Charlie Wick with a Y. Now, for me, that's bang out of order from him, and I think he needs to get that sorted. He did score 26 goals last season. A Sunderland bagsman. He joins on a free transfer. He's gone to Wigan, so he can see something there. He can see a big project there at Wigan, along with, of course, the skipper of Sunderland, Max Power. Very, very serious, strong, oxygenated friend of the channel. Max Power as well. That's very, very interesting. No huge departures either. Only really Lee Evans, who joins Ipswich. Not the comedian. He probably would be a cracking player, but he's not that Lee Evans. I'm pretty sure he's Lee Evans, the comedian. I might be completely wrong there. But anyway, he joins Ipswich. And I think for Wigan, all jokes aside, I think they've made some really good additions. Max Power, Charlie Wick. I think they're good players. Very, very good players. 20-odd goals for Charlie last season. A bagsman for Sunderland. It's going to certainly affect Sunderland. But for Wigan, I think there's some really, really good additions there. And I can really see him competing. I really, really can. Next up then, Sunderland, 5th. I've gone with them. They are the bookies' favourites to win the league. But every time I look at the bookies and Sunderland to win the league, they're pretty much favourites to win the league every year. Sunderland, I'm pretty sure, were favourites to win the league last year as well. And they didn't do it. This year, they're bookies' favourite again. I think the bookies must sit there and go, who's got the biggest capacity of stadium? Which might not be Sunderland now, because of course we've had Sheffield join. So it might not be them. But I think they must sit down and go, Sunderland are a massive club. Let's predict them to win the league. Because nothing has suggested to me that Sunderland are now capable of winning the league more than they did before. They've just lost their top goal scorer. They've lost their captain, Max Power, a very, very good midfielder, and an absolute total out-and-out goal scorer. They have made some big additions, but they've had some big names leave the club and players, again, that are, generally very, very good. Still think they have enough quality to get, finish in the top 6. I'm not saying that. Sunderland are a fantastic club. I like Sunderland. I really, really do. I'd like them to get promoted, though, so we don't have to deal with them every year. But the weird thing about Sunderland is I think the bookies predicting them top of the league is a bit strange because they haven't suggested, they haven't done the business, in my opinion, suggest that they are ready to now take the next step into getting promoted and win the league. I think they definitely could get promoted. I think they probably will get promoted. I think they are a fantastic squad, a huge squad, a massive size, a football club, and that will propel you quite far. But winning the league, I'm not sure about that. But I think top 6, Sunderland, I think you'll take that as well. Hopefully, though, if they finish in the top 6 for Sunderland fans, they can not just finish top 6, also get promoted as well. I think they're going to finish 5th, though. They finished 4th last season. Next up then, we're going with Charlton. I think they're going to finish 4th. Again, 7th last year. Not a great year for them. They're hoping that was going to be the year for them to bounce back into the Championship, back-to-back, relegation, then promotion. Jump them back into the Championship. And they're one of the teams spending a lot of money this year. They really, really are. They've made some serious moves in the market ahead of the season. They've signed powerful, versatile players. Sean Clare from Oxford United. I am a little bit annoyed about that departure. Some good free signings as well. A clever loan signing from Norwich, along with some good permanent signings. One that stands out for me is Jaden Stockley. A successful loan spell there last season. He now joins permanently, so again that looks to be a really good deal for them. Goalkeeper Ben Amos joins Wigan, along with Anake Moose goes to Birmingham. 2 good players there at Charlton going to Championship clubs, the other which going to divisional rivals Wigan, another team again like I've already mentioned, picking up the big boys. Really, really interesting. I think Charlton, they have enough. They've got a really good squad this year. I think they're going to finish 4th. Next up then, we're going with Rotherham. I think they're going to finish 3rd. They've got relegated last season. Only one arrival so far. Some interesting business going on there. Some quite significant departures, including Matt Crooks, who leaves the club 40 games last season. Lucende, is that right? Joins Preston on a free as well. I do believe they have the squad to compete in the top 6 this season, though. I know they've only made one signing, but I think they definitely do have enough, like I said there. They've had a few departures. I still think they've got enough, though. I think they've still got enough to finish in the top 6. Next up then, we're moving into the automatic promotion spots, and I've gone with 2nd in the league, being Ipswich Town. They finished 9th last season. It feels like a real rebuild, another team rebuild, Ipswich. After new ownership, a large amount of players leaving the club, they've added to the squad very, very well. Piggott joins on a free from Wimbledon, a fantastic player there. I know they're looking for a striker. They've certainly got a cracking striker there, who's a proven goal scorer. And in this league, you need a proven goal scorer. Having a serious goal scorer in this league is important and probably will propel you to being a successful team in League One. You've You've got other bagsmen, and Piggott certainly is that. Raheem Harper from West Brom on a permanent deal is a very, very impressive signing. That midfielder at 21 years old looks to be really, really good. A fantastic midfielder for them. They've certainly got a top quality midfielder, a top quality striker as well, I'd say, for them, along with some fantastic other arrivals. For me, Ipswich, they've got enough. I think they're going to finish second. I think they're going to get automatically promoted. And finally, then, the champions of League One this season. Who is it going to be? I've gone with Sheffield Wednesday. They were relegated last season. They've certainly had some issues off the pitch financially. I just still think they've got the squad, though. I just still do think they've got the squad. They will be a fantastic side this year. And I think they've got enough. After some significant, difficult, it's a difficult one to pronounce, financial issues off the pitch, they have been forced to dip into the loan and free market. Striker Jordan Rose joined Huddersfield on a free. He started 15 games last season and he scored 7 goals. They also signed Shadipo on loan from QPR. We know him very, very well. He scored 11 goals for Oxford United last season as well. He certainly is a good addition to their squad. I still believe they have the squad and quality of players to win the league, and certainly, if not win the league, definitely get promoted. But at least, I think they're going to predict, and my favourite, in my opinion, to win the league. They are the bookie's second favourites to win Sky Bet League One this year. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been my prediction. That has been my Sky Bet League One predictions for the 2021-2022 campaign. Hopefully you haven't been annoyed too much. If you've got any fans there of clubs, I know they get a little bit touchy-feely when we predict them maybe where you don't want them to. But anyway, we've got to do it. It's tradition, like I said at the start, so hopefully you can understand. Please leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you've enjoyed this episode of the podcast. Like I say, support me by leaving a like and hitting that big red button and subscribing. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Jack. This has been the Unfan Podcast. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you all in a bit. Take care.